Y'all scary, huh? In
Yeah,
New
y'all
York.
got some problems.
All right. So moving on.
Same.
Kanye West, your favorite person, Brian Miller.
Listen,
Kanye is still pursuing his clothing line with the swastika after denouncing that he was a Nazi.
listen. To all of the Kanye supporters, every last one of you, the whole Kanye is woke, and he used this moment as the biggest double standard ever to show that this has been happening to us for years. No, Kanye is a capitalist that likes to make money. He thinks he's an expert in the fashion field. He does not care about civil liberties, sensibilities. He does not care about how people feel and what he does to people. So ultimately, put this kid back on his meds, stop defending him, take microphones out of his hand musically or from a media standpoint, and let this dude like chill the hell out. Like put him, Puff, and a few others, Amber Rose and Kodak Black, and you could go visit them and give them some chicken and, have
So
that
what do you think
conversation.
about putting them on their own island?
I think he was building one. He had this vainglorious idea about building his own city. He should. And invite everybody out that supports him. That's what he should do. Because this is, honestly, to be perfectly honest, think about it this way for 2.2 seconds. And I said this last week. If any media personality, I don't give a shit how justified you thought you were, had a T-shirt with a black man being lynched on it, which kind of is the exact same thing that represents to Jewish people, we would have been at his ass so long ago.
Well,
and that is what he's doing to an entire race of people every time.
I agree with that, and I think that is definitely hateful and hurtful. But I think that we need to have the same energy with everyone that does that, because as you and I know, you grew up in Alabama and I lived there for a couple of years, and I think I don't know what brand. I'm pretty sure I saw quite a few Confederate flags.
But here's the thing.
And even though there's a difference in, I guess, the degree of whatever, it still is something that when we see it as black people, it's something that bothers us, just like that.
It does, you know what I mean? But it's not the same. And it is.
Why?
It is racist. It is. But when I say it's not the same, you had an entire side of a country fighting for their way of life, right? I'm not saying it was right. Slavery was wrong, obviously. Kanye thinks it was a choice. What I'm saying is the swastika was the symbol of the race of people who enslaved an entire race of people in concentration camps, rape, murder, killed, all of that, genocide to the hilt. So what I'm saying is every time you put that on, you are bringing something up that they have buried. And when it comes to that flag, we got that flag removed. That flag is down.
It still flies.
Flies where?
I mean, maybe not.
In somebody's yard.
Maybe not at the state. I think at some of the state, it shit still flies in fucking South Carolina.
And I'm not saying that racist people don't exist, and I'm not saying Kanye obviously is not the only person to wear a swastika. But as a black man who should understand, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, I'm not justifying it by any means.
you.
I'm just saying
Kanye West.
have the same energy with all
I'm in agreement with you. I think I
symbols
said
of
when
hate.
I agree with y'all on that.
when we talked about this on the podcast, two shows ago, I think I said the same thing. It's like when we talk about us, it's always remember the Holocaust, remember, the Jews and the people that died, that were slain, and Hitler was terrible, and all of these things. I absolutely agree. But like you said, we got to keep the same energy with things because they just tell black people to get the fuck over it. Just get over it and stop looking, that doesn't stand. We get to hear why the Confederate flag doesn't mean what it exactly means. We know that is a racist statement. They were fighting for it to keep slavery, to keep enslaved. Like, we have to think about, we don't know the worst things about slavery, but somewhere in some place, there is a piece of furniture with our ancestors' hair and stuffed inside of it. Like, they were taking, Abraham Lincoln had slaves' teeth in his mouth. Like, we have to understand
that's crazy.
that
Using them as dentures.
skin was being stripped from our ancestors' bodies to make shoes. So they degraded us and thought so low of us that they started to put and insert our body parts into furniture.
That's
so
crazy.
We're talking about, I understand and I can get it. It is a big deal. This is fucked up what Kanye is doing. However, I am in agreement that we got to keep it the same across the board. There has to be a same level of outrage. I don't want to hear why the Confederate flag doesn't mean what it exactly means. It is a racist statement. It's a racist symbol, and it should offend the same way that the swastika does. It should. Because just like 6 million people died in the Holocaust, we don't even know, because some people took the boat. They jumped off the boat. They chose not to deal with it. Some people didn't make it. Thousands of people on those boats. They carried thousands of people on these slave ships, and some of them were sitting in water the entire time, did not make it, freezing water at that, were dead upon arrival. So they didn't even make it into it. We have to understand that picnics came from pick a nigga, where people would sit outside, sit on the ground in blankets. White families are having lunch as people are on stage getting whipped and being bought and sold as property. So you cannot tell me that the symbols don't mean the same
No,
thing.
I'm going to say this because I don't want to cheapen what you said, because I think what you said was very, very important, and I completely agree. I'll say this. We as black people, we will bear that cross for other races because we understand. What was surprising to me during this past election was how many Hispanics were like, oh, y'all are wrong, y'all are wrong. And now on the other side of that election, it's like, black people, we got to stick together. I'm
Fuck
like,
around and
what?
find out. And and I love the energy that black people are giving. It's not our fight. It's not our fight.
that's
Our
not
hands
our
are washed. We tried to tell y'all. We tried to give y'all the game. All the people, you see all these people crying out that are government workers now. Well, Trump, I voted for you. I've showed up to work on time. I fought for this. I've had my job for 15 years, and I voted for you. Da 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 da. You think that man cares?
Listen, eggs are still
don't
expensive,
care.
and Lil S.A. and Lil They are on the way out.
To Guantanamo Bay.
It is what it is.
what I think to couple with what you said, and I think I sent y'all both them. It was a meme, or not a meme, a infographic. That's what they call it, right? I didn't realize that it was so many like massacres
Affluent
here.
towns, and black people.
So
in
many
black towns?
massacres in the United States.
Yes.
So if you really, really think about it, I mean, they haven't officially deemed it, but if you think about it, we've had many Holocaust things similar
course.
of ourselves.
Of course.
Like there's an infographic with at least they had
Tulsa,
slides with like
Rosewood.
20 massacres,
But
and
you know
then going to
that all of
comment.
this is that they do certain things to lessen our history, because right now they're trying to wipe our history out of schools.
No question.
But they've been doing this. This has been an ongoing thing. Like Martin Luther King, there were color cameras. Those pictures are in color, but they make them in black and white to make it seem like this was ages ago.
Absolutely.
So it's all an act to erase history or to minimize what's going on, or to think like, oh, you know, that was a long time ago. You know, there was white. Some of our family members were around for segregation. You know,
Right.
like it wasn't that long ago. There's still living people. What's her name? I'm going blank. That integrated schools. She was the first. Ruby Bridges.
yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
is still alive. Has a Twitter account.
Yeah.
So we're talking
Right.
about, it's not that long ago.
No.
But we're told to shut the fuck up
That was 56 years ago. It
and
ain't that long.
accept it.
I mean, it's,
And
you know,
times are better because y'all have jobs and you should be okay.
yeah.
But
It's
when
very, very
when
sad.
it's a swastika, let's throw our
But
arms
you know
up in
what?
the air in outrage.
I think for me, it was not moving the goalpost and saying that you of all people have this influential voice. Like, don't spread that. Don't
Yeah.
put that in the atmosphere,
yes,
dude.
and the Aryan race is white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
And
so
would
I
kill
don't
you in
understand.
a
It
New
doesn't
York
even
minute.
really like Hitler would not have liked Kanye. You know, like him proclaiming to be a Nazi is insane to me. So, like I said, I don't agree
Whatever.
with the shit, but yeah,
God
we're gonna
bless
pop
him.
it for it because the black experience is all I know.
Yeah, this
I'm a
is the
black
God
woman.
bless him episode.
All right.
Yes. All right.
I'm
moving
black
on.
and I'm
Moving
proud.
on.